Hello, I'm Stephanie and welcome to Lesson 1 on the A2 Essential Grammar course. Now, in this course, we're going to focus on some really important grammar that you need to know at this level. We'll go into detail about each point and, of course, there'll be lots of opportunity for you to practice. This is Lesson 1 and today we're looking at the past simple. So in lesson 1 you will practice regular verbs. We're going to study some irregular verbs. And finally we will focus on the pronunciation of ED endings. Okay, lots to do as always. Please do make sure that you have a pen and paper to write down new information and of course your answers to the exercises. Let's start with regular verbs. I'd like you to look at these sentences and notice the change in the verb. Now, I work in a bank. Last year, I worked in a supermarket. I live in London. 2 years ago, I lived in Bristol. I walk every day. Yesterday, I walked in the park. I listen to music on my way to work. This morning, I listened to Lady Gaga. Okay, your first task. For each sentence, decide what happens now and what happened in the past. And how do you know? Pause the slide and think about these two questions, please. Well, time expressions like last year, yesterday, 2 years ago, this morning, they indicate the past. So with these expressions, we need to use a past tense. To talk about events in the past, we can add ed to regular verbs. So in our examples, we have work, which becomes worked. Live, which becomes lived. Walk becomes walked. And finally we had listen, which becomes listened. Nice and easy. We're just adding ed to regular verbs. Okay, time for you to practice. I'd like you to complete the 6 sentences. Let's look at an example together. My sister usually calls me at 6 p.m. Yesterday she called me at 5 p.m. So we have the verb to call, but the second part of the sentence starts with yesterday. So we need to put it in the past simple, called. Okay, here are your 6 sentences. Read them very carefully, identify the verb you're going to use, and then put it in the past simple, please. Pause the slide. Okay, how did you do? Let's check your answers. Number 1. I usually finish work at 5:30 p.m. Yesterday I finished work at 7 p.m. Number 2. She never arrives on time, but on Monday she arrived early. Number 3. It always rains. I went to work. I didn't take the bus. What about you? So write your 5 sentences, please. Good, and that brings us to the end of this very first lesson. Thank you very much for joining me, and I will see you next time for lesson number 2. But goodbye for now.